Are you ready? Welcome to the Think Millions podcast, a channel where you get an unfiltered, raw, and authentic conversation about the challenges of being an entrepreneur and tips and tricks on how you can scale your business to the next level. If you are looking to scale your business, then you're in the right place. Introducing our host, Alexa D'Agostino.
Hello and welcome to the Think Millions podcast, a podcast where I bring you real entrepreneurs that are out there. These are not people that are just talking the talk, but they are walking the walk. And today we are joined by a powerhouse entrepreneur who has redefined the health, fitness, and nutrition space. And now he has a new venture into one of my favorite foods, popcorn. And I saw popcorn. I was like, I have to have this guy on here to explain how you go from nutrition to popcorn. And I'm very excited. Welcome, Tim Rexius. He's the CEO and president of Rexius Nutrition, the fastest growing chain retail of nutrition supplement stores in the U.S. And now he has just launched the Omaha Protein Popcorn Company, which has quickly become a fan favorite. And I am so excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Honored to be here.
Yeah. So when I was looking you up, I saw how many kids you have. And I want to start, this is not where I want the conversation to go, but everybody listening has kids, and everybody listening for the most part are running multi-million-dollar businesses. I have two kids, and I find it impossible. So can you explain to me how many kids do you have?
Six.
Six kids.
And a grandbaby.
And grandbabies. How do you not only have founded companies, but continue to find companies?
Well, having six kids kind of makes the necessity for making more companies and making more money. 'Cause, they're not getting any cheaper. And honestly, a lot of the business ideas when we come from my kids. I mean, literally, it's they're all part of it. For instance, I mean, my oldest daughter, when we first started Rexius Nutrition stores, we would do pop-up events at, bodybuilding shows or 5K runs or whatever. And so my daughter, she was my sidekick. She was there filling jugs and cups for people to taste test things. And I found that my kids it softens the approach, especially back when I was actively bodybuilding, which I am far retired now. People would consider me intimidating. I'm a large guy. And so having the kids kind of softens the business. It makes it approachable. So, I mean, having your family involved with the business, I think it's an attribute, it's an asset, not a liability. And so the kids have kind of grown up with, this is what we do. I mean, no different than when I grew up working on the farm, and this is Nebraska where I'm at, so everybody's a farmer one way or another. And that I tell my kids, you have it easy. Like, we're in air conditioning most of the time. Like, you're hanging out, slinging protein popcorn samples or energy drinks. And my dad had me, slinging hay, which is way worse. So I always explained to him, like, you guys got it pretty easy. But I made him part of the event. And because of that, the kids are very involved. And, as they've gotten older, I mean, I've got 3 out of high school now. One's married with my grandchild and my son-in-law, and I'm like, you guys can be involved in the business. You don't have to be, but it's here for you guys to jump in and earn it if you want it. And they've all kind of chosen to go on to different things, but at least when they're in high school and they're begging for gas money, I'm like, hey, you got a way to earn it. I pay by the hour. There's a store here. There's a gym here, and they don't like that, but they do have the chance to earn it and learn, and it's fun, But my wife and I, we have 7 calendars. Kid you not.
7.
Each 7. The kids have a kids calendar that everyone gets to see what every kid's sporting event is, or show choir, or debate, or whatever it is. And we as a family try to go to literally everything. At least half of us are at any event. Sometimes we've got to split duties because kids have things at the same time. And then my kids get to see the Rexius store calendar. That's the nutrition stores. They get to see the Iron Heaven gyms. We own 3 fitness facilities too. They get to see those calendars. The Omaha Protein Popcorn, my podcast, my guest speaking schedules, keynote speaking, whatever. The kids get to see everything. Everyone gets to see everything. And that way, everything's planned. It just takes a lot of planning. And I'm pretty good at it. My wife is a superstar at multitasking. She can multitask circles around me, which makes it a lot easier because, I'll forget where my keys are. And my wife can be 6 states away and probably tell me where they are on the phone. She's a superhuman being, I swear. But it's just a lot of planning.
Well, they say that the most important decision you will make in your lifetime is who you marry, right?
Oh,
So,
1000%. And I outkicked my coverage by a long ways. She's smarter than me, significantly better looking than me, and much more calm than I am, which is nice because I'm, constantly on the go, just a tirade of, I always have this massive sense of urgency, and my wife is the calm to that. So it's just, it works really well. We're a blended family. So she had two daughters, and I had my daughter and two sons, and then we married and I adopted her kids, and then we had one together. So we're kind of a hers, mine, and ours situation. But it makes it fun, and all the kids are just they're amazing. I mean, literally, they make us look like we know what we're doing. They're just all good human beings, and they're way better than my wife and I, as we like to say. So, and it's fun because and that's how the protein popcorn company got created. Honestly, when you have little kids trying to convince them to eat protein that doesn't come in the form of a chicken nugget or chocolate milk. It's like negotiating with a terrorist. And
mm,
they're not going to eat the protein bars. They're not going to drink the shakes. They're not going to do that stuff. And when you have as many kids as I do, I'd like to say I'm more disciplinarian, like you need to eat this, but I don't do that. I think it creates bad eating habits. And so 600 batches over 1 year back in 2018, my wife and I goofing around every night, we finally found a way to invent a candy coated protein popcorn,
hmm.
literally to trick my kids and my parents, the two age groups that need protein. And we decided to put a label on it and see if we can make it a go. And it's gone really, really well.
That's incredible. So, my question to you is, you started in nutrition, you built
Mhm.
a whole chain, and
Yeah.
really we're going the nutrition route. So let's talk about
Yeah.
that, and then I want to go into the Omaha Protein Popcorn. So you're somebody who is a big family man, and you get inspired to go in the health and nutrition industry. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did you build Rexius Nutrition without any funding?
Yeah. Just me. I was in nutrition in college and I liked it. I had fun doing it. That's when I was trying to get to the NFL and I got my shot. I got hurt like my first basically month into being a professional athlete. So that was about the end of that. But I love that feeling of helping people look good and feel good. I mean, look good, feel good is an expression for a reason. You see the power that when people want to lose weight or get in shape and how that can impact somebody. But, coming out of college with a business degree didn't really prepare me for alternative financing measures. I came from no family money. There was no trust fund for me and couldn't get a loan to save my life. And so I actually left nutrition for about 6 years and I worked in the industrial chemical space. I actually worked on pandemic outbreaks, nonetheless, back West Nile virus back in the early 2000s. And then it's funny because I always say this to people who are meant to be entrepreneurs but had to go do the day job. And I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money doing that job, but I did not like the job, didn't like the industry, didn't like the people. Honestly, that I had to deal with politicians a lot. And that takes a special breed of people who like to do that. And I'm not one of them. And I find that no matter how much money I made, I would spend all that money in my personal life trying to create happiness that I wasn't getting fulfilled from my job. And so I still ended up broke and in hating my life. And I also got very unhealthy. I went from being in the NFL to being 340 pounds at probably 33% body fat. I had 6 ulcers burst at 28 years old, just so stressed out. I mean, I was very good at selling the product. I moved very high up the ladder, but I just didn't like it. And I put all my money into real estate. And if anyone back there remembers what 2008, 2009 was like, so now I went from being pretty well off to broke
Hmm.
and hating my job. And
Jeez.
so I decided, what's the last time I had fun? My kids were very young. I'm just young enough and dumb enough at 29 to go, screw it, I'm doing it. And I'm gonna start my own nutrition store. I'm gonna move back to Omaha, Nebraska, and get back to that feeling. If I'm gonna be broke, I might as well be happy and broke and not miserable and broke because I was starting over financially. I lost everything in real estate in that 2 year time period. I started my first store and it just here I am going against some super giants in the area, but I understood one very important thing more than all these larger chains did. The ability to shake a hand and cultivate a relationship will have long-term consequences with repeat business. And I thought I saw a lot of the health and nutrition industry. It was a lot of one-off gimmicks. The telemarketing and I was explaining to my younger employees, this is back when radio was a thing, and so was TV, and that was my ad space.
So many
And it was
MLMs.
all these Oh, so many of them. And I'm like, you know what? And so I couldn't even get a sampling in a gym, but what I did have was the ability to go work out and meet people. So I went to three different gyms every single day for 3 years. Got back into phenomenal shape, but I met every single person who worked at any gym within a 3 mile radius of that location. So much so that that became the number one grossing retail location anywhere here remotely close. And then decided to open a second one and then a third one. And then all of a sudden I got employees who were loving it and just gigging on it. And they're like, you can only keep really good employees for so long. You only pay them so much. And then we decided to start franchising.
Yeah.
And the point that next thing you know, we're all the way down in Tempe, Arizona, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Denver, Iowa. All of a sudden, we're in 9 states, and they're all former employees or former customers, actually. Every one of them. I've never had somebody just come out of the woodwork and be like, I just really like you. I want to start a store. It's always been somebody who's been part of the process, which means I don't have to reinvent the wheel and re-explain why we do
Well, they
what we
believe in the
do. And
product too.
they do. And our goal is it's results oriented. So like, let me help you fix a problem. If you fix somebody's problem, that's a lot different than selling them something. So I just take a different approach. And then my job as a CEO is to make sure that I'm, buying correctly. I'm keeping the costs where they need to be. The margins can be there. In fact, none of my staff even knows what I make on anything. That's not their job. Their job is to make happy customers. My job is to worry about profit. And by doing that, even with the part-time kids, they understand that their job is to solve problems. And by solving people's problems and thinking about profit last and about their health first, we have customers now shopping with us for 16 straight years. And so much that they were like, 20 and now their kids are in high school. So now I've got the next generation buying. And so you have this multi-generational business that just keeps feeding the monster. And it's been fun. And it was funny because I met my wife in 2013 and we're a blended family, like I said. And this is how important your spouse is we were in just Nebraska in 2014. By 2015, we'd gone into 4 new states after I met her. That's how important that driver is for somebody that's, just as crazy as I am, that's on the crazy train. Like, okay, we can do this. And that's that confidence. And she's a lot better with accounting and bookkeeping and those things. And I'm just helping me systemize the approach. And we expanded massively. And that led into the next several companies that we started.
Yeah, I think, what's interesting is I had somebody the other day ask me, they said, "Hey, what new service can I do?" And I said, "You're asking the wrong question. It should be what problems can I solve?" So I love that you said that. And I think that that question is underestimated. And there's so many people that I've coached in the past that are trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And it's one of the number one things that I say when I am talking to people. I'm like, are you actually solving a problem? They might think they have a problem that they don't. You have to actually solve a problem that they actually have. And a lot of times, even, depending if it's a consumer or what have you, like think about how many people are trying to lose weight and they're like, oh, I need X. And you're like, no, you don't. You need Y, right?
Yeah.
So that you
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's the solution, but the solution is this. Now you need to get them to come in for X, but then you need to sell them Y.
Well, and that's the other thing is that we had an expression with my old CEO who was a mentoring me quite a bit in my early 20s. And he said something he kept saying repetitively, and I didn't really understand it until I got into my own shop and my own bills. It was don't try to be everybody's everything, be somebody's something. I think all too often we try to fix every gap at home. We can't. We got to focus on our niche and really double down on what I'm good at. And so there's like another chain of stores in my town. One's only like a mile away from me, and they're more into the crazy off the wall type herbal medicine stuff. People will come in. Now I could carry it, you bet. I have way more customers, or I stick to what I'm good at and I refer people. And so here I am with these competitors. I mean, call them competitors. We're in the same industry, but we're not. We all get along great. And it's because I kick them. No, that's their field. That's their niche. I'm not, I'm going to stay where I know that is my lane that I'm really, really good at. I'm not going to try to satisfy everybody. I'm going to be somebody something. And so here's this correlation of competitors who end up, I think this as a seasoned entrepreneur that in the 5 year, 10 year, 15 year room, your competitors are your best friends. They sharpen you.
Yeah.
You get to roll ideas off of them. And it's funny, when I started the popcorn company, we did bring on some investors this year. Now that we've expanded so massively, one of my local competitors is actually my investor now because he actually sells my product not only in my stores, but he sells it in his stores.
Oh, look at
And
that.
so now he's like, "Can I invest?" I'm like, "Absolutely," because here's a guy that we've gone back and forth, and iron sharpens iron. We've made each other better, and I couldn't think of a better person to partner up with. So it was kind of yeah, 15 years ago, I was like, oh, I got to beat him. No, I don't. No, I
So,
don't. And
so one of your
it's just a different
competitors,
aspect.
yeah. So one of your competitors is Khloe Kardashian now, I would think, right? Because she just launched a
Kind of.
protein popcorn. So
They've
how,
been very, very, very good for me.
yeah.
So, so I was the first one to really ever do one. So we started back in 2018. We called it optimal performance popcorn. So me being the giant nerd that I am, I looked only from a macronutrient standpoint. How I say this, a guy's perspective. How much protein can I fit in a bag per flavor? I'm going to max it out, make the biggest bag you can. I mean, one of my flavors had 91 grams of protein in the bag. And fast forwarding now, years later, I'm like, God, that was really stupid. And I marketed it to me because when I travel, I wanted an efficacious snack that I could actually eat, especially in bodybuilding. What people don't realize is most protein snacks in the market you buy have the lowest bottom barrel grade protein on the planet. So anybody who's actually into fitness, it'll destroy their stomach. And so I couldn't eat most of them. And so I wanted one made with hydroxylate isolated proteins that didn't have high fructose corn syrup and whatnot. And so we invented it. And my wife, we went to the Mr. Olympia bodybuilding convention, thought we were about to get rich, right? And it just never went anywhere. And I'm very stubborn. About 5 years in the process, and I became the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And we put it in a grocery store because they were in my chamber, and they outsold my own nutrition stores 50-1. And here's where it gets fun. And this is where the family kind of comes in. This is like the most beautiful story. I started selling to like 5 grocery stores, and they're all outselling me. And I sent my daughter down, and she comes back. She goes, it's all the little old ladies. They're buying your popcorn like it's going out of style, and then little kids. So I go down and talk to the dietitian at the grocery store, and they said it's the only snack they could get their elderly patients, their customers, to actually eat repetitively. The halftime when they would buy the bars and shakes because they make them, as soon as the dietitian would leave, they'd come back and return them because they don't want to eat it. And I was like, okay. So then I got suggested by that chain to go to Sweets and Snacks Convention in Chicago. I didn't realize they had snack conventions, but if you've never been to one, we are all missing out.
Oh,
Hershey's
yeah.
had like a 6,000
I owned a
gallon chocolate
plant-based
fountain.
company, and I
Oh
used
yeah.
to love going to just the conventions in general. I would come back like 10 pounds heavier.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh, it's
Hershey's like a
so good
six
though.
thousand
It's the
gallon
best.
chocolate fountain. I wanted to get actually, I'm like, just jump in, get type three diabetes, and call it a day. So I get a brand new backdrop banner, staff of 4. I've dropped about 15,000 on this. I told my wife, we're finally here. You got 200,000 attendees, and not a single person stops by my booth the first day. And my wife, what do you want to do? I'm like, we're going drinking. I'm so pissed. I'm very upset. And she kind of sat back. She goes, you realize it doesn't say healthy or protein anywhere on our label, right?
Mm.
I'm like, oh shit. This is about me being two in my niche. Everything in my stores and my gyms is always protein healthy related. I didn't really step outside myself. We went and got a banner that said protein popcorn on it. And we hung it up, and we had 400 to 500 people in a line for 2 straight days.
Mm.
And it was funny that, one of the gentlemen from Hershey's came over, very nice guy. He's like, do you want 5 minutes of free advice? I said, I'd love it. Can I ask you why? He said, well, everyone who works at my booth is eating your popcorn at my booth, and that's a problem. I said, okay. He goes, are you easily offended? I said, no. He goes, cool. Your bag is ugly. The sticker is ugly. The name is ugly. You need a new color scheme. You need a mascot. I'm like, wow, I didn't think you're going to be that honest. And then I realized that as we're flying home, my wife goes, you realize you haven't gone grocery shopping in like 10 years, right? I'm like, oh God, I don't. My wife kind of makes all those decisions. She coordinates the kids on that aspect. I'm like, she goes, well, how about you let us take a stab at it? So my daughters and my wife designed the bags. They designed the look, they designed the mascot, the color scheme, and
Nice.
everything. And we relaunched in
That's so
January of
fun.
23. And in January 23, we relaunched the new look, and we were up literally about 20,000%. We've gone into 14 countries in the last 24 months, all
Wow.
because of a name change, color change, mascot. I made it fun. I made it
It
colorful.
just
I made
shows
it
how important
trendy. And
marketing is.
it is how important marketing is. And then also under identifying your client, like who's doing the buying. Women make 80% of buying decisions for all households. And I'm marketing it to me. I don't buy anything
Yeah.
ever. Like if I'm wearing something new, I guarantee it's because my wife bought it. It's just me. It's just not
This
my
is really
focus. But
making me want popcorn now. I'm like on
well,
Instacart. I'm
and
looking.
it was funny. And it was like, so I had only candy coated flavors originally, which were designed for post workout. Most people don't understand nutrients, but what you want post workout is, easily digestible sugar, no fat, and fast digesting protein. So that's how I made it. Well, my daughter, my oldest, kept coming home with these gigantic bags of Smart Pop white cheddar, just I think to upset me. So I spent 6 months and reinvented ours, which we use organic coconut oil. There's no sugar. Now that's kind of a pre-workout, and that's actually our number one flavor, all because of my daughters just trying to bust my chops a little bit. And so fast forward to this spring or this last winter, when I was speaking at ASU down in Arizona, and I get a text from somebody, the Kardashians just launched a protein popcorn. I go, this is going to suck for you. I'm like, well, I haven't even started marketing yet. I went into 14 countries without running an ad. This is just me and my relationships that are doing it and my ability to go speak and get these things done. And I look up the formula. I go, oh, this is great for us because my background's biomechanical engineering. I understand food science on a level that most people don't ever want to. And the way they made the formula, I said, listen, it's very good for us that they're going to get exposure to the entire product type of a protein popcorn in a way that I couldn't possibly do it. And sure as heck, I mean, look at the reviews. They're not great on theirs. And my reviews are absolutely amazing. So it's actually opened the doorway for me. And I don't look at competitors as negatives. I'm going to stick to what I do best, the type of protein I use, the type of oils I use, the type of bags I use, all of those things. And like the Kardashians been great, but they can't export because they have such a short shelf life, where mine is the longest shelf life, certified, tested. So it really did open the doorway for me. And I got to thank them because I've been trying to get into the UK for a year. And as soon as they launched, the UK called me and they've been ordering pallets galore. So very, very good for me. And there'll be more competitors. There'll be more copycats that come, and it just is part of business. I just look at it as exposure, and I'm going to stick to what we do and what we do well.
I mean, I think it's amazing how you have not only built one, but three successful. You have the gyms, you have the nutrition, you have the popcorn. My last question before we wrap this up is how do you juggle all three?
They're all complementary. I kind of this is an industry that I like. I really enjoy this, and I've done my job on Rexius Nutrition stores so well that I'm not as needed as I was even 5 years ago. And they like me to come down. They like me to do the guest speaking spots, do the podcast, and it's good publicity. But I've trained these staff members so well. Yeah, I think 13 of these locations I used to own, and I sold them to my staff. I turned all the locations into franchises except for the original one because half my kids learned to walk in that store. So my wife said I couldn't sell it. It's a little sentimental. But the rest of them do, so that they've already worked for me. The gyms, that was a former employee that wanted to be a business partner. And I look at every single employee as a long-term job interview for a future business partner. And these gyms have scaled so much, and he's very good at SOPs and standardizations. And, so I have partners in every company I own that have like-minded. It allows me to do what I do best. And that's the bigger events, the bigger speaking, the financing, the brand building, and the things that I do really good. And by having partners on board, and that's really the thing. And it's once I realize, I'm not giving 110% to one of my companies, then it's okay. It's time to level up somebody else who's in the business and let them take on the hot seat. And I'll do more of a chairman of the board position. I'm here as your backup. I'm here for you to run questions off of because I've already done this for 15 years, and allow these people to kind of grow their careers inside my companies. And so by me stepping back and not being egotistical, I think is probably the best asset that we have is, I have a 21-year-old kid who just took over one of my stores, and he's got all these fresh ideas. He's like, I don't want to step on your toes. I'm like, step on them. He's like, seriously? I go, why not? I'm not in your network. I'm not in the 18 to 25-year-old crowd. I'm 45 years old. It'd be weird if I was in the 18 to 24-year-old crowd. You're going to see that aspect, and I want you to merge it with mine because I know what the 40 to 50-year-old crowd's looking for. And if you can find a good blend, I don't govern with an iron fist, as I like to say it. I think it's a collection of ideas, more of a knights at the round table with every company. If they've got a good idea, I don't care if they're 18 or 80. If you're willing to do the work and you got a good idea, let's go. And that allows me to surround myself with a really awesome team. And the simple fact is, no ego here. There's no way I could do this by myself. It requires a lot of really awesome people I'm surrounded with. It's my assistant is actually probably 50 feet away, and I don't know if she's listening to us or not. But she started out as a desk clerk at one of our gyms. and she helped with our little daycare. And then she ended up with our youngest. She ended up nannying our youngest child for probably 2 or 3 years. And then he went to school, so she went to go work at a bank. And then I had put up a post about needing a new personal assistant. When I got home, she was waiting on my couch and basically goes, "You're hiring me."
Get out.
Oh yeah, she's amazing, and now her and her husband, they're expecting their first child here in a month, and I've made them shareholders in the popcorn company because
I love
they put in
that.
this extra time. So when we do an exit, that's them. So everyone has a share. Everyone is a shareholder. Everyone in all companies are paid profit sharing. Everyone's a little mini owner running around. And by doing that, I got 200 people who all care like an owner, who
Yeah.
have skin in the game, and allows me to have 200 extra set of eyes that make sure that everything is running to that level, that standard that we've set.
I love that. I think that's so great. So, my last question, what fuels you in the morning, coffee or pre-workout?
Pre-workout, absolutely pre-workout. I'm addicted.
I figured,
So, I
but
mean,
I had to ask the question.
pre-workout in a can. Oh yeah,
You a Celsius
I'm
guy?
no, God, no.
Those are so bad.
I can't, the chemicals. I test them a lot, and so a lot of brands send me samples, knowing that I'm a caffeine junkie, and I absolutely am. And I'll test out new ones. Right now, I got some new flavors from Gorilla Mind with the Noon Pept. I like the focus type products that kind of get my brain. I have so much ADHD, so anything that adds in some focus for me is good for the goose.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, this was a master class in how to do it and how to do it big. It was so nice to chat with you. I'm going to put all of Tim's information in the show notes. So if you guys are listening and you love to listen to Tim, you want to hear more, definitely give him a follow. Go check him out. Go buy some popcorn. I wrote my assistant, said, "Can you get me some popcorn from Instacart?" Now I want popcorn. I was
There we go.
especially looking at the peanut butter popcorn you guys have, and I was like,
Oh,
that
it's
just
good. It's
peanut
good.
butter is my jam. So thank you everybody, and everybody listening. Make sure to give us 5 stars, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Think Millions Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate that effort, and we'll catch you in the next episode.